You might be one of the best I've ever seen.
Focus big at the box office, and at the top of the charts, Bruno Mars on this day in 2015.
The news on CJOB.
We will go live to Los Angeles in 2 minutes. The Jets report now. 680 CJOB sports director, game night host Kelly Moore, and your Monday commentary.
The Winnipeg Jets were not able to make the big trading deadline splash Friday afternoon that most in this market were hoping for, counting on, really, and in some cases, demanding. Nor was a deal made to address the need for a second-line center. Following yesterday's 4-2 loss in Carolina, the door has been left open for a barrage of I told you so's. For the time being, we don't know for sure if Vlad Domestikov has to go into a league-mandated 7-day concussion protocol after having to leave in the third period when he was taken out of the game by the league spotter following what head coach Scott Arniel felt was a hit to the head delivered by Carolina captain Jordan Staal. With Rasmus Kupari already in concussion protocol going back to last Tuesday on Long Island, that could leave Mark Scheifele and Adam Lowry, and then the relatively unproven Morgan Barron, David Gustafsson, and perhaps Brad Lambert as options for the third and fourth lines tomorrow night against the Rangers. The general consensus is Dallas and Colorado leapt ahead of Winnipeg as the favorites for the Western Conference because they reeled in the two biggest fish in the lake at the deadline in Mikko Rantanen and Brock Nelson, respectively. History has shown over the years playoff success is not always, make that seldomly guaranteed for those who made the presumed biggest catches on deadline day. There are no certainties when it comes to maintaining good health either, but guaranteed, if the Central Division standings remain unchanged over the next 5.5 weeks, one of Dallas or Colorado will be out after round one. The optimist in me says the Jets have the pieces and then some to maintain their hold on first place. Days like yesterday, though, test that belief.
Jets Rangers tomorrow with our pregame coverage here on 680 CJOB starting at 5. Los Angeles District Attorney Nathan Hochman says his office will move forward with the resentencing motion of Eric and Lyle Menendez. Reporter Alex Stone.
The DA's office is doing a 180 and saying that they want Gascon's argument for their release withdrawn. He is now putting in his own argument, saying that the DA's office under Nathan Hochman no longer supports that they be released because of resentencing, that they get parole because they have been rehabilitated. Their argument, he says, for one key reason, that they have not taken responsibility for their crimes of murdering their parents.
Neama Rahmani is president, co-founder of West Coast Trial Lawyers, with us live on 680 CJOB. This really is a startling development.
Well, it is, and it's not. The writing was really on the wall when Hochman had a press conference a couple weeks ago. So there's three different cases going on, essentially. There's the petition for clemency before California's governor, Gavin Newsom. There's the habeas petition related to the new evidence, the sex abuse of Roy Rosello, the letter that Eric wrote his cousin. A couple weeks ago, Hochman said that that is not self-defense. That's not grounds for a new trial. So today, we were talking about rehabilitation. The brothers changed fundamentally. And given his posture from a couple weeks ago, it was pretty clear that Hochman was going to reverse his predecessor, George Gascon's resentencing request and say that the brothers were not and are not rehabilitated and they should stay behind bars.
So what are their options now?
Well, they can still overcome the district attorney's objection if they can convince a judge that they have. But, you know, the prosecutors are going to go hard against them and say, these are people who have lied for many, many years. And Hochman talked about 20 different lies. Now, of course, the brothers will say that they were sexually abused, and they're very different men than they were 35 years ago when they were really young adults and convicted. So it's ultimately going to be up to a judge. But here's the interesting thing. Even if the judge says they're eligible for parole, Governor Newsom approves or rejects the parole board's recommendation. So this case is going to end up on the governor's desk one way or another.
So it does get political.
It always does get political. And I think the reason that George Gascon, the former district attorney, agreed to expedite this case after it was sitting on his desk for a year and a half was because he was in the middle of a highly contested election, and the Netflix series Monsters came out, and there was a lot of public support to release Eric and Lyle Menendez because they're victims of sex abuse.
And the difference between emotion, Netflix, and the law.
Well, it's Hollywood, so it all blends together. I say every prosecutor in the United States is elected or appointed by someone who is. And there's really nothing more powerful than a documentary. We've seen it time and time again completely change the course of a legal case. Britney Spears, R. Kelly, Bob Durst, Abercrombie CEO Jeffries. I mean, there's just too many to name. And this is just another example of how public support for someone. And so it doesn't hurt that Kim Kardashian and Rosie O'Donnell are on that bandwagon too. So it makes a big difference, and we're seeing it here.
Neama Rahmani is president and co-founder of West Coast Trial Lawyers, joining us live from Los Angeles on 680 CJOB. Markets taking a tumble because of Trump, more just ahead, and live at 5 as Ontario starts to turn off the power to the United States. Please stay with us.
680 CJOB Business.
Endeavor Wealth Management investment advisor Brant Butt joins us